The Ohio State Buckeyes open up the 2024 season taking on in-state opponent Akron. Except this isn't like Ohio State playing 2021 Cincinnati, which 2021 Ohio State versus 2021 Cincinnati was, in my mind, a matchup that we deserved to see. A team that was all offense versus a team that was all defense, and they were in the same state, and both were some of the best teams in the country that year. This is Akron, which is why Ohio State is favored by 49. 49 points at home. Ohio State last played Akron in 2021, a game in which Kyle McCord started as a true freshman, and Ohio State won 59-7, outscoring the Zips 59-0 after Akron took the lead in the first quarter with a touchdown. The Buckeyes, they bring back so much of their roster, 15 starters, more than 60% of their production, their head coach in Ryan Day. They upgraded their staff by bringing in Chip Kelly. They used the transfer portal well to bring in Quinshon Judkins, to bring in Will Howard, Caleb Downs, Will Kaczmarek, Will Howard. And look, there are reasons to pick them to win the national championship game. I'm not someone who's picking them to win the national championship game, but I'm telling you up front, this team is going to be very good. That's why they're favored by 50 points against a scrub like Akron. And for context, most teams, even if they are great, even if they're top 10, aren't favored to beat a team like Akron by 50 points. That's a pretty big spread, a humongous spread. And Ohio State is going to win this game no matter what. I don't even see an upset being possible here. Of course, in theory, it's possible, but I don't see it happening. So why am I doing a game preview here? Well, I'm doing a game preview here because Akron is a football team, and Ohio State has some things that they want to get better at compared to last year. Akron's quarterback is going to be Ben Finley. Ben Finley played at North Carolina State University. I think maybe a little bit last year, or I don't know if it was last year. No, it was 2022. He played at Cal in 2023, but he spent most of his career at NC State. Last season, he threw 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, only 572 yards, and he only ran for 8 total yards and less than a yard per carry. Frankly, not a very good quarterback. And one of the starting wide receivers, the starting running back, and different pieces on the offensive line and defense are incoming transfers. I mean, Akron last year only passed for just over 2,000 yards, and they didn't even run for 1,000 yards. They were just a horrific team. Joe Moorhead's a good coach. He may put together like a good drive against Ohio State, but Akron is just a tough place to win. Ohio State's roster is very much the superior one. Henderson ran for 926 yards last year and 11 touchdowns. Quinshon Judkins ran for over 10 touchdowns and 1,000 yards last season. And Ohio State returns 2022 1,000-yard receiver Emeka Egbuka. They bring back Carnell Tate and Brandon Innes, who were 5 stars out of high school. Jeremiah Smith is expected to be an All-American or close to All-American caliber player at wide receiver this year. They return 4 out of 5 of their offensive linemen. And they bring back a defense that only allowed 11.2 points per game last year. They bring back their leader in sacks, Jack Sawyer, who had 6.5. Their leader in interceptions of Jordan Hancock. And they bring back, tied for first, leader in passes defended in cornerback Denzel Burke, who also had a pick, a forced fumble, 24 total tackles. Ohio State's goal in this game, I think, is going to be running the ball and doing it consistently and having good offensive line play and also good running back play. I put up how do the running backs perform because that's the obvious question, is how does Henderson look after a year last year where he was great, elite by the end of the year, but he's a player who obviously needs space to hit his big plays and to be consistent. So does that change? Is he healthier, has more of a power element? Or if he doesn't appear to be that way, is that because his offensive line isn't good, or is that just because of who he is? And for Quinshon Judkins, Can he get explosive plays? He's obviously going to pick up consistent yardage. He's more of the power back out of the two. But how does the offensive line and the running back room do here? And obviously, Ohio State will run for more than 100 yards on these guys. I think that's obvious, even given some of their past struggles in the ground game. But what about more than that? Can they dominate on the ground? Can they ground and pound for an entire drive? I don't know if they'll do this because A, they probably want to play it a little bland until they meet up with Oregon or until they have to. And B, you don't want Henderson or Judkins to be injured. But with Henderson, Judkins, and Will Howard, I imagine that it'd be a very realistic goal to run for over 200 yards on this team. And I think with 4 to 5 offensive linemen returning, a good blocker at tight end, Will Kakmarek, I think that that's reasonable and very doable. Something else to pay attention to is how accurate is Will Howard, because his accuracy is not going to be affected by Akron's defense. That'll just be him standalone. How accurate does he look? And for the defense, can they pitch a shutout? I think they will pitch the shutout. But I don't know exactly if Ohio State's going to cover this spread or not, because when these spreads are huge, and especially with a team like Ohio State with the new clock rules, where Chip Kelly may want to run, by a ratio of 60 to 40 run versus pass, or in a game like this, maybe even more, Ohio State's going to control the clock. I think that they're going to want to stay healthy, bring in some backups, and I look at that 49-point spread. I don't think Akron's going to hold Ohio State to a field goal. So 49-0, all 49 of these points, I think, will be scored in the first 3 quarters. Most of them will probably be scored in the first half, and then Ohio State turns it down a notch. With the defense being better than the offense, the defense earns a shutout, but the offense doesn't score much after halftime. And you get that 49-0 win. This is a big year for Ohio State. I think they'll start it off right. I think in any season under a Ryan Day team, they would blow out a team like this Akron. But last year, against Western Kentucky, against Youngstown State, they did struggle early, and they just pulled away in the second half because they were that much more talented, and especially because of their defense and Marvin Harrison Jr. Well, there is no more Marvin Harrison Jr., and Ohio State wants to be a better team than they were last season. And I think that whether they're a better team than last year or not, I think they are. They will be better built to game control opponents to death. They will be better built to not have like the drive against Notre Dame to win. They won't need that type of drive. They're going to be a more physical team, and they're going to be more dynamic on the ground, and consequentially have at least a more balanced attack. We'll see if the offense with its ceiling is higher, because Marvin Harrison Jr. is an elite player, and McCord historically has been more accurate than Will Howard, and that's why I mentioned Howard's name here, is what's his completion percentage, and how many long, medium, short throws does he complete, does he attempt, and what's there with Ohio State's passing attack, with their offense in general. The defense, is going to be one of the nation's best, if not the best. So I have Ohio State winning 49-0, not covering the spread, not going under, just a simple push. I'd stay away from this line. Thank you for watching this cut of Touchdown Talk. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, comment your thoughts down below, and share this video around to other college football fans. I want to give a special shout out to my Patreon members for sponsoring this channel and video. Thanks to Crash2488 and Brasco Rascal for being Heisman members. Thanks to Chris Lane, Connor Little OH, Ismart, and Tyler Nye for being All-American members. And thanks to John Lynn, Roaming Gnome, Matthew Sale, Austin Christmas, and Janisha Cockrell for being all conference members. If you want direct message access to me, and also after 6 months of membership, free signed College Football with Sam merchandise delivered to your door, merchandise of your choosing, I may add, sign up as a Heisman member for $25 a month and stick around for 6 months. All American membership is $10. All conference membership is $5. If you want merchandise regardless, check out my merchandise store via the link in the description or down below in the pinned comment. It's high quality stuff. I wear it for all of my streams, and that's because it's comfortable, high quality, athletic, stretchy. It's really good clothing, and I encourage you to check out my merchandise store along with my Patreon page, which are in the links in the description and in the pinned comment. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.